Hey, this is Khaled Dathan Aleem, the real estate bull, and welcome to this week's episode in the state of Philly real estate. So today we're going to be talking about some of the council meetings that happened that affected some of the real estate outlook in Philadelphia for years to come. So let's hop into it. If this is your first time here, please like wherever you're getting this from. Please like, please comment, and also please share once this is done, once you've watched it, okay? All right, so what's going to happen is I took some notes as far as some of the things that happened this week in Philadelphia real estate. So I'm going to read those off and then we're going to comment, okay? So first, City Council approves Philly construction tax and changes to a property tax abatement in busy end of the year session. So what happened? City Council on Thursday, this past Thursday, City Council passed a new 1% tax on residential construction. Okay, they also adopted major changes to the property tax abatement program. There was also something that passed was a controversial zoning map of the Strawberry Mansion neighborhood. There was also legislation aimed at protecting Black and brown workers in the service industry who were laid off during the coronavirus pandemic. And all this looks to take place in January of 2022. Okay, so not next year because we're about to go in January 2021, but the following year. I always find that a lot of times that happens, I guess, because they need to get things in place. So they kind of kick the bucket as far as the implementation down a year or two. Okay, I'm sure that's for a rhyme and reason. They probably got to get everything set up. So it's not something that can just happen tomorrow or just happen in a month or so. So what does that mean? Okay, everybody knows that I'm a real estate agent. Okay, so I'm definitely in the field working with people, working with investors, working with first-time home buyers also. So again, they passed this new bill. There's going to be a new 1% tax on residential construction. Now, I tried to find out exactly what that meant. Okay, just off the surface, what it looks like to me that it means is that when they're constructing, whenever there's new construction, okay, there are people out there that just buy lots, and they buy lots and they build homes on them. So that's new construction. So it seems like there's going to be a 1% tax, new tax on top of the tax that they already get for that construction or any major improvements to the home. Now, major improvements, I would like to know what that means. Does it mean just adding a bath, or does that mean adding a whole second room or a whole blowout? All right. So I tried to research and see exactly what that meant, but I wasn't able to get to it. So for the regular person, it doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of change because most people, they are buying homes that are already there. Okay. Already rehabbed homes. So I'm not sure if, as far as this residential construction, if they're going to put rehabbing in there also. Some of you might say, what's rehabbing? The rehab is when you have either an outdated home or a shell, and they come in and they just totally fix it up. Okay, granite countertops doesn't have to be granite countertops, but a lot of times you see it as granite countertops. So it could be that I don't know per se. So we'll have to. I'll make a couple of calls and try to see exactly when they say. And that's the thing about these bills is you really have to know what's their definition, because you can have a definition in your mind and their definition could be something totally different. So you really have to, okay, when you say residential construction, what exactly do you mean by that? Okay. Also, there are major changes to the property tax abatement program. We talked about that last week. The tax abatement program is umpteen years ago what Philly did in order to attract people to the city, which I think definitely worked. Is they said, okay, if you buy a home for $50,000 and you approve it and now it's worth $300,000, that improvement, that $250,000 worth of improvement, you won't pay taxes on that for 10 years. Okay, so it made the city very attractive for a lot of investors. Now, there are people who think that by chipping away at this tax abatement program, it's just the numbers aren't going to make sense for the investors, and the investors are going to stop improving these blighted properties in Philadelphia. My personal feeling is that they're probably right. Okay, by taking this tax abatement away, investors work strictly on numbers. Okay, strictly on numbers. So it's not, oh, I love Philadelphia and Philadelphia is this and Philadelphia is that. They go where the numbers work. So if the numbers don't work in Philadelphia, they're going down in Wilmington. When the numbers don't work down there, they're going to Cleveland, Ohio. Okay? They're going to different places because the numbers work. So they're really eating at people's profits. Now, on the other hand, people like the Philadelphia school system, because they get most of their money from property taxes, they're saying, hey, we're being shorted here. So we need that money also. So I understand both sides. So we'll definitely see what's going to happen. Also within this bill, there was a controversial zoning map for the Strawberry Mansion neighborhood. So quick background is that Darrell Clark, who is the president of the city council, he's from Strawberry Mansion. So there are some who think, and I'm not saying this is my opinion, but there's some that thinks that he's just doing that because that's home base, so people can look at him and say, oh, he did this and he did this and he did that. The reason why, to give you a quick background story, is Strawberry Mansion is a hot area. You have a lot of people going into Strawberry Mansion, and what they're doing is they're taking those homes that are blighted and they're turning them around. Now, you can kind of make an argument on both sides, okay? Because you have people or investors saying, hey, the Strawberry Mansion, it's right there. It's right by Fairmount Park. It's in North Philly, 5 or 10 minutes down. You can get down to Center City. Great location. They have a lot of rural homes, but they have some big homes down there. So if they don't come in, if the investors don't come in and flip these properties, what some people call gentrification, then what's going to happen to these neighborhoods? Because these neighborhoods have been like this for umpteen years. So they say, okay, you look at the past to get an indication of what's going to happen in the future. So if these neighborhoods have been terrible for so long, and this gentrification doesn't come, then are those people in a better situation? Because you're going to still have, a lot of time, not all the times, but you're going to still have crime-ridden neighborhoods, crack houses. I mean, on and on and on and on and on, because that's what happened to Strawberry Mansion. So what did Darrell Clark do? Okay, let's read what he did, okay? He was a sponsor of this new historical preservation and zoning overlay for Strawberry Mansion, okay? The largely black community have concerns that gentrification will make the neighborhood unaffordable. Well, some will say that the neighborhood before then was unlivable. Okay? So, I mean, those people are kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place, because before then, you had a crime-riddled neighborhood. And there's still traces of that. So you have a place where you can't live, but then a gentrification comes in, you have a place that you can't afford. So tough situation. Now, builders and house flippers, of course, they oppose this legislation, which bans roof decks and imposes other building standards on the area. All right. And what they're saying is that Clark is merely using the overlay as a tool. And this tool was actually meant to protect the character of neighborhoods with historically significant architecture. But some just thinks that he's just using these rules on the book to fight developers. Okay? So, okay, what happens to Strawberry Mansion, or what happens to these other places if these developers don't come? Who's going to fix them up? The people in the neighborhood? No. The people in the neighborhood are not going to fix these houses up, because if they were going to fix them up, they would have fixed them up. But they didn't. So now these developers are coming, and that's what happens. So let me break down as far as the situation with gentrification. Okay. So what happens is that you have a home. Let's just say, I'm going to throw out some random numbers. You have a home. Your mom or somebody bought it for $20,000. Okay. So right now you're paying taxes. Your taxes are only $200 or $300 a year. Okay. Next to nothing. Well, what's going to happen is that when you have people buying up homes around you, maybe not your home, but people buying up homes, okay, rehabbing them, and then putting people in them who are going to pay more for the money, now the property value goes up. When the property value goes up, your property goes up. Your property assessed value goes up also. When your property assessed value goes up also, then what happens is your taxes go up. And with gentrification, this is what people are really trying to fight. Their taxes going up. So I don't know the middle ground between that, because most of the time, I'm sure there are places where it's a great area and low taxes. Okay. But most of the time, what I've seen is that when the area is great, the taxes are high. When the area is bad, the taxes are low. So you're going to have to, as they say, pick your poison. All right. What's next? Also, Thursday, council passed a measure aimed at battling the proliferation of untraceable ghost guns, a package of bills aimed at increasing transparency on the demographics of companies that get city contracts, and legislation designed to ensure that the thousands of hospitality industry workers laid off due to the pandemic will be the first in line to get their jobs back if their employer recovers. So you all know that in Philadelphia, or not just in Philadelphia, all over America, what industry has been hit crazy by the pandemic? The hospitality industry, of course. Well, this bill, because in Philadelphia, it's a mostly black and brown city, but in Philadelphia, the hospitality industry, of course, was hit also, so they had to lay a bunch of people off. So this bill is going to make it so that those hospitality industry folks, they hire black and brown folks, these black and brown folks back first in line, because, okay, logically, what might happen? If you lay all these people off, for business, you may look at the people who are making less, okay? You may look at the people who are making less, so you'll go hire them first. So, for example, if I own a restaurant, and I have somebody who's been working there, let's say a waitress or a cook, I have somebody who's been working there for 20 years. So they've got a raise, maybe they got a pension, okay? So they gain all this seniority, and okay, I got to fire everybody. Well, this young person is doing the same job as this older person, but this younger person I'm able to pay less. So I'm probably going to hire that one that I was going to pay less back first. Okay, here's the thing. How do you police this? Okay, I guess that's my thing with this bill, is how do you police that? How do you police me hiring Dave back but not John? Because I can say, you know what, Dave wasn't doing good. Maybe David was doing a good job for me. But like most employees, maybe he wasn't doing everything correctly. So then I say, okay, well, I'll make up all of this stuff, or I'll highlight this stuff about John just so I can hire Dave. So there's going to be a lot of restrictions and a lot of red tape on the hospitality industry that they're going to have to use their mental attention to, and also their paycheck attention to. when they really should be using it toward getting back to business. So that's going to be super tough, okay? Super tough. All right, let's move on. So this happened probably a week or two ago. A week or two ago, Philadelphia City Council, they passed legislation cracking down on quick-moving real estate intermediates known as wholesalers, okay, who are seen by some as exploiting uninformed property owners in neighborhoods with rapidly accelerating land values. Okay, so City Council is going after home buyers. And who is the person who sponsored this bill? Alan Dom. He's the person who sponsored this bill. Now, Alan Dom comes from real estate, okay? He comes from real estate. He used to be known as the condo king, okay? So he wants to crack down on wholesalers, okay? So for those of you who don't know what a wholesaler is, let's break it down. A wholesaler is somebody who, first of all, they're not job, but what they do is they find distressed homes and distressed people. Okay, what does that mean? That means somebody who needs to sell their home in the next week or the next month, or somebody who lives in Florida, but they have a house in Philadelphia, and they inherited the house, and the house has just been sitting there. And because of taxes, the taxes are so low in Philadelphia compared to a lot of places in the United States. For example, I invest in Philadelphia, but I invest in Memphis, Tennessee. And the taxes are so low that one of my houses up here, the tax for the whole year, the whole year of the Memphis taxes is less than 1 month of my Delaware County property, my Upper Darby property. Okay, so it's peanuts. So some people inherit homes and they just sit on them because, as they say, out of sight, out of mind. So what wholesalers do is they find these people, okay, and they get, according to the U.S. laws, they get an equitable interest in the home, okay? And the way that they do that is there's a contract that they sign with the owner, and they may give the owner some type of value, meaning some type of consideration. So they give them $1, $10, $100, $1,000, $10,000, something. So now they have an equitable interest in that home. So what they do is, for example, just say that you lived in California. Say you lived in California and you just found out that you had this home that your mother used to own and she willed it to you. It's in one of the rough neighborhoods. You live in California, you going to the beach every day, so you're not really looking at this home. You're not really paying attention to this home. You just know that you own it, okay? And you don't know what to do with it. You're working your 9 to 5, so you're just like, hey, you get the bill every year and you pay it, the property taxes, and you pay it. Somebody calls you up and they like, hey, listen, this house that you have over in 123 Main Street in Philly, listen, man, I'll give you $10,000 for it. You wasn't getting anything for it. But now this person is saying, I'm going to give you $10,000. Okay, when you give me $10,000? I'll give you $10,000 in 30 days. Okay, cool. So what happens is he sends you the contract, you sign it, and again, in order to bind the contract according to the laws, there must be some consideration. So he has to give you some type of money. So he gives you $5 or $10 or something like that. And you say, okay, great. So now he goes and he takes that property that is worth, well, he told you he was going to give you, I forgot what I just said, $10,000. He said he was going to give you $10,000. He goes and finds somebody who will pay $40,000 for it. For example, I'm exaggerating numbers, but he finds somebody who's going to pay $40,000 for it. Okay. So what he does is he gets them to pay the $40,000. He gives you 10 and he keeps 30. Now that from that example, if you're not familiar with this case, you might be like, what? What? He should have told him that it was worth this and this, that, and the third. Well, okay, let's change the example. Okay. Say the house is worth, he tells you that he's going to give you $40,000. Okay. And he finds somebody who's going to pay him $45,000. So what he does is he takes that $45,000 from the investor, he gives you 40, and he takes 5. That's what a wholesaler does. He's like a middleman or a proxy, okay? And people have been doing it. This has been a way for people who don't have much, traditionally, for people who don't have money to get in real estate, okay, and buy homes. And now Alan Dom is looking, I'm not saying he's doing it, but he's looking to close the door on that. But how are they looking to close the door? Under the law, this is according to the Inquirer, under the law, such speculators or wholesalers who secure real estate for themselves with the aim of selling it for a quick profit would be required to obtain a license and adhere to ethical constraints similar to those binding state accredited real estate agents. My thing, are you going to make them agents or not? You know, it's like to have some halfway is kind of halfway doing it. I really don't see how that's going to solve the problem. With the passage of this bill, Philadelphia will establish fair rules and expectations for wholesalers buying and selling homes in our community, says Councilman Alan Dom. And again, he's the one who sponsored this. I really don't see how that's going to stop anything, okay? How it's going to stop anything. The law is set to go into effect 2 months after the passage. So they just passed it, supposed to go in effect in 2 months. It almost seems like a quick money grab by the city because they want these wholesalers to pay a license. But what does it look like? Does it mean that they're going to be held to the same standards as real estate agents? It's like, okay, well then why not just make them real estate agents if you're going to do that? And then what you can do is, how do you know that the person is a wholesaler? Because what some people do is, and this is going way deep into it, okay? But how they get paid is when you buy a home, there's something called an altar or a HUD. And that's the last statement that has all the financials on it that says, you bought this house and this is how much you paid the title company. This is how much you pay. And there are several different line items of people that you pay during your home buying or home selling process. So one of these wholesalers, they could just put down as like marketing, or maybe they'll go in and fix one light and be a construction person. 1 second. All right, I'm back. See, that's what these lives, you can't cut these up. And maybe I'll try to cut this up so I can cut that out, okay? But with these wholesalers, they can find creative ways to get around that, number one. Number two is what they could do is which is called a double close, okay? So you go in and you buy it. You actually buy it as the wholesaler. So you go to close with that person, in my example, the person from California, okay? They come to Philadelphia, they come to closing. They're in one room, okay? So they're in one room and you're actually buying it from them for $40,000. But then the investor is in the other room, okay? So you go to one room and you complete the transaction. Now, you don't have the $40,000. What happens is they give you a short-term loan, okay? So you go from one settlement, you buy it for $40,000, but you get a short-term loan for an hour, and then you go to the other settlement and you sell them that property for $45,000 and you take the difference, okay? There's a number of ways around this. So again, it looks like a money grab from the city, which happens a lot of times. But I just don't see how they're going to police this to where, and I understand what they're looking to do, but in this day and age, with as many realtors that are out there, people know about real estate agents. A lot of people know about real estate agents, okay? I'm not going to say everybody, but people know there are people who sell homes, okay? I always tell my clients like this. There's two type of people looking to buy or to sell their home. Either they're trying to sell their home for the most money possible, or they're trying to sell it very, very fast. There's a million of reasons why they would be looking to sell it very, very fast. If they're looking to sell it very, very fast, then a wholesaler might be the way to go, because on a normal transaction, okay, with a realtor, it takes 30 to 45 days. But if they're looking to sell it for as much money as possible, they definitely need to go with a realtor, okay? And there's some investors or wholesalers who tell people, oh, well, you don't have to fix up anything. Well, as a realtor, you don't have to fix up anything either if you don't want to. If a realtor's selling your home, you're just going to sell it as is. Now, that lowers the price a little bit, but you can sell it with a realtor where you don't have to fix up anything. This is the only point that I wanted to make. Okay. And last but not least, Philadelphia City Council extends mandate that landlords use eviction diversion program. Philadelphia will continue to require landlords to go to mediation with their tenants before filing for most residential evictions. City Council extended through March 31st the requirement that landlords participate in the city's eviction diversion program. Okay. As a landlord, I'm definitely not a big fan of this, because landlords want, for the most part, not all the times, but you're in the business for what? You're in the business to make money. Okay? You're in the business to make money, but at the same time take care of people. So when a landlord rents a property out, and again, for the most part, you got some so-called slumlords out there who just want money, but they don't want to fix up anything, or they don't want to take care of their property. I'm not talking about them. Most landlords that I know are good, decent people, and they want to do the right thing, because doing the wrong thing hurts you as a landlord in the long run anyway. Now you got a property that's terrible, no one's paying for it, so on and so forth. So it really behooves you to be a good landlord. But with this mediation, it almost seemed like it's another hurdle. For the most part, we're at mediation because the tenant did not pay the rent. Okay? So it almost seems like they're giving the tenant another way out and say, okay, we'll go to mediation, and that just takes longer for the landlord to get their money or get the person out so that they can start making money and start fixing the property up. So again, this has been extended to March 31st. We're going to see how it goes, but I'm sure that there are going to be a bunch of angry landlords out there, because it's like, look, you're making me go here already. I probably tried to mediate. I probably tried to reach out to them and try to work some things out, but it just didn't happen. So now I have to go to this mediation also, and now I got to talk to this peer person also, and we've been going back and forth, so this person can kind of snub me again. I don't know if it's the best use of people's time as far as the eviction program, but we'll see. Maybe there are some winners out there in this program. All right. So, all right. Listen, again, it's your man Khaled, the real estate bull. So if there's any topics that you want me to jump on or talk about during this time that we have, about a half an hour every Tuesday at 3 o'clock. I got on a little late because my car is being worked on getting my brakes fixed. But if there's anything that you want me to talk about, let me know. And if you're looking to buy a home or sell a home or invest in real estate, I got you. Take care, y'all.